We have now interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Warheads. We got the usual suspects: Zoe, Roscoe, act the damn fool today.
Don't be afraid, man.
I'm not afraid. Be afraid. Be very,
Very afraid.
Not today, though. We want to talk about this cancel culture nonsense. We know this past Tuesday, Dave Chappelle, he came out with a Netflix special called The Closer. We know Dave Chappelle to be just that. He is a very good comedic genius. But he made some statements that has the alphabet community up in arms. They're like, I don't believe he said that. Dave Chappelle is funny as hell. But he made reference to cancel culture. We know that over the years, cancel culture has gotten out of control. It's almost as if people are walking around with their feelings on their sleeve. You can't say anything about them. They don't have a retort. My whole thing is, if somebody's saying something you don't like, just don't support them. Don't look at them. Look the other way. I see that all the time. But I wanted to go over a couple of things that Chappelle said in his comedy special, The Closer. And I want to have a discussion with you two, about what was said. So Dave, he goes on and he says, in our country, you can shoot and kill a nigga, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings. Chappelle quit. This is precisely the disparity that I wish to discuss. One of the jokes that he brought up on the show, he talks about beating up an LGBTQ female in the show. He found himself talking to her girlfriend, but he thought she herself was a dude. And as he was talking to her, he sits up here and says that, he'll beat her ass. That's pretty much how one of the jokes went. But I wanted to sit up here and put this to you guys because he was making reference to the baby. It was some things that the baby said at a concert back in July in Miami, Florida. But let's have a discussion on this cancel culture. Does it make sense? Should we be counseling people when they say things that are offensive to a certain group of people? And I mean anybody, black, white, Mexican, gay, you name it. Go ahead, Warheads.
Well, I'm gonna just start by saying this. First of all, there is actually a lot of power in words. There's a lot of power in words. So, in saying that, when I think about how the gay community, I guess I'll call them the alphabet community, because I can't remember all them goddamn letters in succession. But when that community, when they get upset about things that are being said, derogatory things that are being said about anybody in that community, I get the aspect of not wanting certain banter to get out because again, words are powerful, and you don't want these words to influence somebody who's gonna take any crazy actions against somebody in that community. So I do get that aspect, if that's what part of this cancel stuff is about, the power of words, because I think that's kind of the antithesis, the base of all of this, if you will, what I mean, is what I should say. But I think this is what it's all about. But in saying that, when you talk about not just people in entertainment, where I think in certain realms, especially when you talk about like the comedic realm, we said this off camera already. We were talking about this, about how that's the one medium that you would think that anything would be allowed, and it used to be that way. So I don't want to prattle on because I want to give everybody else a chance to give their thoughts about that. But yeah, I just think that those people from that community are scared of what kind of words are being said because they don't want people hurt. But at the same time, at what point does it become too much? And when does the freedoms that we're supposed to have as Americans supposed to kick in? The freedom of speech, I mean.
Right.
So so you could go in and say what you got to say.
I mean, I just think it's pretty funny that we're at this point where, I mean, comedy should not be restricted at all. A lot of people think lots of different things are funny. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't tune into it. But I mean, it's just like, I don't know, man. We're at a crazy point where, I mean, look, in LA, we have a law that you don't have to tell people if you're HIV positive. But yet we're at another spot in the whole world where you have to answer if people are asking you if you're indoctrinated. So, I mean, something isn't right. There's a whole thing. And it's like, you know what side is what, man, at that point, because it's like, yeah, how are you going to infringe on my rights? I think cancel culture is stupid. It's just a bunch of people that are offended over stupid shit. And I mean, we need to be stronger as people where words can't hurt you. You should be on another level where somebody can't say something and it gets you that riled up where you just act off emotion. Because that's what it is. You're acting off the emotion of either being embarrassed, scared, discouraged, mad, whatever. And yeah, it's just it's a stupid thing. I guess I can't say that I don't know how it happened because a lot of people are just offended. Like, it doesn't matter if you're offended or not. Like, life still works without you. You know, I mean, it's proven every day. You know, people die. Life still moves on. So I just don't understand that people can be hurt by words or stuff that doesn't even matter, like pronouns. Like, I've never cared if anybody said he or him, or like, I don't care. Like, point to me if you're confused. I don't know. Like, I'm just not offended. But that's just me. I think that we need to be on a stronger path. People need to raise kids that are stronger.
I agree. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this got me to thinking about, Dave Chappelle's comment when he was talking about you can kill a nigga, but you can't hurt a gay person's feelings. He was talking about the baby, because the baby actually has murdered somebody. Yeah. But he was in his concert back in July. He made reference that, if you don't have AIDS or some other disease, put your cell phone lighters up. He said, if you're not out in the parking lot sucking dick, put your cell phone lighters up. Put your cell phone lighters up. Are y'all out in the parking lot sucking dick?
Hell no.
I'm sorry, I ain't sucking dick.
What the hell is wrong with y'all?
I was just trying to listen to you. I was so caught up in.
Thought you were speaking to them, y'all.
You know what I mean? You were so in the man. I was so captured by what you were saying, bro. You know what I mean? So no, just continue. I'm sorry.
But when he says something like that, how does the statement go? You can tell who runs society by who you can't criticize. And the funny part about it, Dave wasn't even really criticizing anybody. I think about the joke that he told about the lesbian woman, and I thought it was funny. Dave, he goes on and he said he beat up a lesbian at a nightclub. He said he whooped the toxic masculinity out of that bitch. He didn't know that she was a woman at first, according to the joke.
Well, what's funny is Family Guy has a scene just like that where Peter beats up a pregnant woman.
Right.
Family Guy ain't canceled.
I don't know.
So they pick and choose who they want to be offended by, because there's plenty of people that jump.
You're absolutely right. I once heard Chris Rock say, if you can take a dick, you can take a joke.
I'd rather take the joke, man. Yeah.
Really, not really, but yeah, no, I think it's just stupid that we're living in these times, and going back to what I was saying about when it's too much, you know, when are we gonna get back to a time, as Zoe said, when we're able to express ourselves like we used to, like we should be able to. We do have a freedom in this country to do that, but also, like y'all said, people shouldn't be as offended by every single thing. We should be more thick skinned. We come up in the world, and we're not just talking about people who come up and the poor situations and all that. People who live in affluent situations are going through things and deal with stuff. So you would think that these people would have a thicker skin and a tougher shell than they do, but no, it doesn't seem to be the case. Everybody's supposed to walk around on eggshells around them, and supposed to be protective of their feelings when they're not protective. I think it's a major hypocrisy, actually, that because of words, that you could decide to take somebody's livelihood away from them. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's crazy. You know what I mean? As opposed to just maybe some of these people could apologize for what they're saying or whatever the case is, but or maybe not even. You know what I mean? But you have the choice to, as y'all said earlier, to totally disregard their argument. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to pay attention. You don't have to watch. You don't have to listen. So yeah, if you run into something that you don't agree with, man, you could distance yourself, but you don't have to take it upon yourself that I'm gonna rid this thing from existence so that nobody else gets to hear it. You know what I mean? You're not the only person out here. The thing that you detest may be something that's enjoyable to somebody else. So that's just my whole outlook on that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on that, I don't think people really grasp that it's the same thing that they're trying to protect is the same thing that we're like saying, well, why ain't we part of this? Like, why don't we get to say what we want to say? There's been plenty of people that, I mean, you don't have to apologize for what you say. I mean, you should have been taught when you were a child that, hey, the world is tough. Like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and people are not going to like you. And
Right.
it should be their loss, but you're like, no, it's my loss. No, it's not my loss. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your livelihood. You're going to lose this. People make mistakes every day. And when you have a cancel culture, you're pretty much saying that people can't change. There's no room for change. Right. So what one person did, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, even 5 years ago, even a year ago, they could be a total different person if they've done it right, if they've actually internalized that change.
Right.
But by you canceling them, you give them no room to wiggle. You give them no room to change. I mean, is that really fair in itself too? I mean, should they be canceled for calling out who should be canceled? I mean, who watches them? That's the thing. I mean,
yeah, no, that's a perfect point. Who's the watchdogs for the watchdogs?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, everybody wants to be on top, but who's going to watch the people that are watching the watch? Like, who's going to watch us? Because they're going to be biased. They're going to put their own personal feelings into it.
No, yeah, I mean, bigger than that, they're not going to be perfect people. They're going to be people who are, in a lot of cases, doing and saying a lot of the things that they're canceling people for.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I just want to say, I wanted to do a fact check. It wasn't Chris Rock. It was actually Carlos Mencia.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If you can take a dick, you can take a joke. It was a pretty funny joke, too. But just to switch it up a little bit, some of the things that we don't talk about is when people from the alphabet community are actually on the attack. historically, J. Edgar Hoover, who led the FBI, he put together, which is documented, this is historical fact, a whole COINTEL program to seek and destroy what he would call the Black Messiah. He had a whole agenda that was like, we can't have any more Malcolm X's coming up. We can't have any more Martin Luther King's coming up. You're riling up the people to sit up here and, I guess maybe in his eyes, be insurrectionists, if you will, against a country that we've known has been very, very partial towards the melanin-rich community. But I was looking up some information on David Geffen. David Geffen, another known homosexual. He owns Geffen Records. He owns DreamWorks Films. He's a billionaire. But Michael Jackson credits David Geffen as the one who, went after him and tried to destroy his career. Even the information that I'm looking up, it says David Geffen's notorious reputation of a person who horrendously vindictive towards anyone who ever crossed his path. This guy, he goes on the warpath against anyone who he feels like crossed him. It may be a small slight, we don't know, but it brings out that even his friends make it a point not to speak anything about him. Like, it's real hush. This is a known homosexual. If Michael Jackson felt that way, and the article brings out how even with Michael Jackson, there's no proof of this, but when people start saying stuff like this, there's something founded. It just hasn't made it into the ether of the internet. And so what happens when someone who's homosexual, like J. Edgar Hoover or David Geffen, goes on the offense? Why is there no outcry when they do things that historically have been horrible? Like, that's a conversation that really needs to be had. Like, are they impervious to criticism when it comes to that? Like, we're talking about hurting their feelings, but what about when they're the ones going after whole people, careers, whole communities? Let's take it there, because that's an even bigger discussion.
Yeah, no, that's when it almost sounds like some crazy movie plot when you think about it. You think about there's this big person or big conglomerate, the head of a big conglomerate rather, who feels offended by this one person who we could easily disregard. When you look at it from the big picture, this head of the big conglomerate, he has everything that a man would want, need, desire, and all that. So anything that this person over on the other side, who clearly may not be doing as good or may be doing well, but clearly not as well as the big head of the conglomerate, but yet feels offended by whatever is said, done, and feels the need to just say, what, I'm gonna stop this person from doing whatever it is that they're doing to make money to live. They won't eat anymore. They'll end up homeless. They'll end up, won't being able to take care of their family. And do they have any regard for any of this kind of stuff? No, they don't. You know what I mean? Just heartless. When you think about that. So these people, again, when I said the people who are doing the canceling are doing a lot of the stuff that they canceling people for. They doing the exact same thing. So the hypocrisy behind these people and their ideology, how they think, how they feel, it's all stupid. You know what I mean? But it just really speaks to what type of people that we're really dealing with, who are actually the watchdogs, if you will, of this of the cancel culture. And these I just gotta say it, man. It's just pussy. You know what I mean? I might end up getting canceled just for saying that. You know what I mean? But
behavior is pussy.
Yes, the behavior. That's what I mean.
Soft, moist.
Yes, very, very wet tissue. Wet tissue. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Sponge cake.
yeah.
But
And
but
no, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Zoe.
Well, I was just gonna say it's a social media bandwagon. I mean, you think there's not just like one group of people that are it's just those are the spot hitters that are offended, and then it hits the social media, and then people jump on it because hey, oh yeah, everybody should be treated this, and it's like yeah, but was he really wrong in what he said? Like, I mean, listening to what Baby said, I mean, wasn't he just supporting people that are healthy? I mean, when you listen to Dave Chappelle, wasn't he just saying the unspoken truths? I mean, like it's crazy how people can be offended at this, but still not be offended at the original fact that the baby actually killed somebody. That was it. He ended somebody's life. Nobody knows how that went, how the interaction went, but it's okay because you sell records and you do this and you do that, and as long as you keep me paid, you're okay. But oh, now you said this about this. Oh no, we can't have that because now you're putting down this. And it's like, I mean, isn't killing somebody putting down somebody? It's just crazy how we have fell into this. Everybody's offended, and it's kind of scary because you don't know what you can be offended by. So now you don't know what you could be canceled for. So it goes into this crazy thing that it's just like I don't know, man. Maybe people are just going to be keeping more to themselves, or just be with more like-minded individuals like themselves. But I mean, you can't kill comedy. I mean, comedy's been around. I mean, what? Why do you think there's so many stars that everybody looks up to now? Because the comedy was the way that it was. So, I mean, you wouldn't have half the icons that you have in comedy if cancel culture affected their generation.
Right.
So, I mean, we're leading into dangerous territory, and we're not going to have funny isn't going to be funny anymore. Honesty is illegal. I mean, it's crazy.
You're right. I'll say this, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. Nobody has to know who you sleep with. To sit up here and promote who you're sleeping with so as to bring about that type of criticism, that's on you. Like, I mean, I'm not gay, but I don't walk around with a flag that says, hey, I'm heterosexual, look at me. You don't see me at the heterosexual pride parade every year, you know.
We don't have one.
Say that again.
Say we don't have one. Shit.
Right. And so nobody has to know. Let me say that again. Nobody has to know what goes on in your bedroom. And the fact that they're parading it around lets me know that they want that attention and they want to sit up here and get criticism. Everybody knows that everybody's lifestyle is not going to be acceptable to everyone. There are people who eat meat, there are people who don't eat meat. But guess what? We get to coexist. And we're not walking around promoting it one way or the other. Somebody asks, yeah, I don't eat meat. Somebody else, yeah, I do. But we should be able to live in society and not have this be a big deal and be promoting it. And so all I'm saying is this. People need to toughen up. You know, things are already hard enough other than to be upset over jokes. There's real stuff going on in the world. And what Dave said wasn't even offensive. What I think is so ironic about this whole situation is that he's made comments about the alphabet community in the past. But it's almost as if like they've powered up to the point where they're like, no, this is it. This is the last straw. We have to cancel him now. Almost as if like, you know, when a man gets to Dave Chappelle's status, he has that FU money. He can say whatever he wants. You know, that's why it's called The Closer. That's why he opened up his special saying this is going to be his last special for a very long time. And he wanted to go out with a bang. He wanted to say what was already on his mind. And so we really just need to, you know, toughen up just as a people. This country used to be tough. It's pussified now. Y'all got anything to say before we get out of here?
Yeah. No, I just think you hit it on the head, bro. It's ridiculous to think that these people they can walk around and feel offended by, you know, stuff and feel that they have to take measures against that. But if everybody felt like that, because there's a lot of groups around here, you know what I mean, that are feeling the black people, brown people, Asian people are walking around every day being criticized and being joked. There's jokes being made about them and all this other stuff, and nobody cares about that. And even these people don't care. They realize that everybody realizes on just individual level that you gonna go through life and people are gonna criticize the way your clothes or your skin color or whatever it may be, and people just have to deal with those things. You don't get to cancel somebody because they don't like that you black, or they don't like that you don't have money, or they don't like that you have kids. You can't just go and say that, oh, because they don't like what I'm doing, I have to end what they're doing completely. It don't go like that. That's
Right.
not how life goes.
Right. You got anything to say, Zoe?
No, I'm just saying. One thing I gotta say is like cancel culture is just like the little kid that you made fun of on the basketball court, and he's like, "I'm taking my ball. Can't none of y'all."
Yeah, that's exactly what
That's what it is, man. So you've offended me, so now you can't play. It's like whatever, man. We'll get another ball. Like,
yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this. The only time somebody's career should be canceled is if they're egregiously walking around murdering people. Don't cancel the culture, cancel your feelings. That being said, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Warheads. Adios.
cancel this, bitch.